Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Church of the Most High. This is Nickelbag speaking on this Thursday, February 19th, 2026. And as usual, we are bringing you that fish scale live, pure and uncut, the way the good Lord meant it to be. We begin our program always with a reading from the book of Proverbs. There are 31 chapters in the book of Proverbs. There are 31 days in a typical month. If you divide that by a chapter a day at the end of a month, you are much wiser and much more understanding of our God and our Creator's way of thinking and how we can best navigate this world to our success and to His delight. So, real quick, just let's ask the Lord here, please, Lord, to give us some understanding and to open our hearts and minds and to bless us because we love you and we're trying to get close to you. That said, let's get right into it. In the name of Jehovah Allah, most gracious, most merciful, the book of the Proverbs of the Kings of Israel, chapter 19. Better is the poor that walketh in his integrity than he that is perverse in his lips and is a fool. Also, that the soul be without knowledge, it is not good. And he that hasteth with his feet sinneth. The foolishness of man perverteth his way, and his heart fretteth against Jehovah Allah. Wealth maketh many friends, but the poor is separated from his neighbor. A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall not escape. Many will entreat the favor of the prince, and every man is a friend to him that giveth gifts. All the brethren of the poor do hate him. How much more do his friends go far from him? He pursueth them with words, yet they are lacking to him. He that getteth wisdom loveth his own soul, and he that keepeth understanding shall find good. A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall perish. Delight is not seemly for a fool, much less for a servant to have rule over princes. The discretion of a man deferreth his anger, and it is his glory to pass over a transgression. The king's wrath is as the roaring of a lion, but his favor is as dew upon the grass. A foolish son is the calamity of his father, and the contentions of a wife are a continual dropping. House and riches are the inheritance of fathers, and a prudent wife is from Jehovah Allah. Slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep, and an idle soul shall suffer hunger. He that keepeth the commandment keepeth his own soul, but he that despiseth his ways shall die. He that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto the Lord, and that which he hath given will he pay him again. Chasten thy son while there is hope, and let not thy soul spare for his crying. A man of great wrath shall suffer punishment, for if thou deliver him, yet thou must do it again. Hear counsel and receive instruction, that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. There are many devices in a man's heart, nevertheless the counsel of Jehovah Allah, that shall stand. The desire of a man is his kindness, and a poor man is better than a liar. The fear of Jehovah Allah tendeth to life, and he that hath it shall abide satisfied. He shall not be visited with evil. A slothful man hideth his hand in his bosom, and will not so much as bring it to his mouth again. Smite a scorner, and the simple will beware. And reprove one that hath understanding, and he will understand knowledge. He that wasteth his father, and chaseth away his mother, is a son that causeth shame, and bringeth reproach. Cease, my son, to hear the instruction that causeth to err from the words of knowledge. An ungodly witness scorneth judgment, and the mouth of the wicked devoureth iniquity. Judgments are prepared for scorners, and stripes for the backs of fools. And once again, that was the book of Proverbs, chapter 19. We read out of the authorized King James Version of the Holy Bible. That is the Old English, the 1611. If you have a little bit of trouble understanding the language used and some of the words, not to be smart ass here, but I recommend looking them up in the dictionary. They're all still there listed. But if it's more of the way the words are arranged in the sentence that gives you trouble, I understand that too. The recommendation is that you get a new modern English version of the Bible. Any of the modern English versions will do. They're all a little different. And then you take the Old English side by side, and side by side you look and compare which, line by line, until you get an idea of how it lines up and how the things are arranged, with the ultimate goal of making the permanent switch to the Old English. The Old English is just the most accurate, the most correct we have in the English language, hands down. King James spared no expense back in those days, and he had the best of the best working on it. And because of that, we have a fine product all the way down till today. Excuse me. Our second reading is from the book of Psalms. I do want to iterate at this time and make mention that this chronological order of the progression of the readings from day to day, obviously the proverb a day lines up with the day of the month, the 19th of the month, Proverbs 19. Tomorrow will be 20, and so on and so forth. The rest of them, they do progress in order. Yesterday was Psalm 12. Today is 13. Tomorrow will be 14. But the way that they were put together and, intertwined was put in motion a couple of years ago. This would probably be the third cycle, I believe, that I myself am on here now in recent times. And this one was set in motion a couple of years back. And oftentimes you'll see the passage from the Psalms reflect the passage from the Proverbs, or the reading from the Quran reflect what's in the Gospel. And this is no design of my own personally. This is what Jehovah Allah gave me. This is how he set in motion. Apart from the day of the month being the proverb, the rest of these were kind of a random pick, although there is nothing random with the Lord. And from that point on, we just went and kept going in order. And the way it lines up, the way they sometimes reflect and complement each other is just astronomically amazing, statistically speaking. And what's even more astronomically amazing, statistically speaking, is when it lines up with something happening outside in the real world on the news. We just had the Super Bowl last week. I guess it's been 2 weeks now, I think. But the readings in the book of Ecclesiasticus, which we're going to get to in a few minutes, had to do with how to throw a proper party, how to, set the party right so that people talk about how great your party was and want to come back to your parties. And, it's a big success. And furthermore, how to behave if you're a guest at a party so that people like you and they want to invite you back to their own party, and you're well spoken of. And that was on the day, Friday and Saturday, leading right up to the Super Bowl. So if you were paying attention to this, you probably threw an awesome Super Bowl party. And if you didn't throw the party yourself and were just attending, you was probably a pretty cool guest they'd want to have back again. So, the odds of that happening, I'm not a statistician, but if there's any out there listening, I would be my honor, and it would be very humbling and to find out exactly what the odds of that are one of these days. Just for the sake of everybody watching, to know that the Lord is with us and he's guiding us here on the Church of the Most High. So that said, we're at Psalm 13. Let's get right into it. In the name of Jehovah Allah, most gracious, most merciful, the book of Psalms, Psalm number 13, to the chief musician, a psalm of David. How long wilt thou forget me, O Yahweh? Forever? How long wilt thou hide thy face from me? How long shall I take counsel in my soul, having sorrow in my heart daily? How long shall mine enemy be exalted over me? Consider and hear me, O Jehovah Allah, my God. Lighten mine eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death. Lest mine enemy say, I have prevailed against him, and those that trouble me rejoice when I am moved. But I have trusted in thy mercy. My heart shall rejoice in thy salvation. I will sing unto Jehovah Allah, because he hath dealt bountifully with me. And once again, that was Psalm 13, very beautiful psalm, 6 lines altogether. It begins with a valid question for a lot of people that feel like they're going through so much trouble. The Lord must have left them. The Lord can't be with them. He's not near. He's gone. He's not looking. He don't care no more. And King David here felt that way, and but that didn't stop him from praising the Lord. That didn't keep him from pushing on, knowing that the Lord's got to be watching. Though he might not feel like he's nearby, he's got to be. And not to mention, he's taught us well that we can kind of pedal that bicycle on our own without the training wheels for at least a few feet before falling over after he lets go of it. So, and that's where we get to at the end of it. David singing to the Lord because he hath dealt bountifully with him. He has taught him well to be able to sort of pedal on his own there. Although when it comes to the Lord, we're never on our own. He never really lets go of that bicycle for us. And that's the beauty of it all. So the next reading is from the Quran. We read out of the new translation of the Quran by M.A.S. Abdul Halim. It's available at Oxford Press. You can also find it online, download it for free, or pay for a hard copy. I'm not getting paid to say this. It's not an advertisement plug. I just want you all to know exactly which translation I'm reading out of, because I do believe that this is the most correct we have in the English language. The Quran is usually sung in the Arabic, and it's a very beautiful thing to hear especially when it's done with somebody with a beautiful voice to recite the Quran. It's angelic to hear when it's recited, but that doesn't do an English speaker very much good, not understanding Arabic. And when you go to read it, even in the translations, it'll have side by side Arabic and English, but they're written in columns as like a song or a poem kind of format. And because the translations are different, the lines get butchered up from line to line, the subject gets hard to follow, it becomes difficult to actually understand and comprehend the message. The gentleman, M.A.S. Abdul Halim, who I do not know personally either, just in case you were wondering that, he's taken the time to put it in paragraph form so that the English reader can understand it and get the most out of it. And that's what we have here today. So without any further explanation, we're going to get into it. In the name of Jehovah Allah, most gracious, most merciful, the Quran, Surah number 87, Al-Allah, the Most High. Friends, glorify the name and reputation of our God, the Most High, who created all things in due proportion, who determined their destinies and guided them, who brought out the green pasture, then made it dark to breathe. Friends, we shall teach you the Quran. Oh man, give me a second here. let's start that again. I'm telling you, man, this bug is going around. Take proper care of yourself lately, because this bug is going around. All right, there we go. All right, one more time, shall we? In the name of Jehovah Allah, most gracious, most merciful. The Quran, Surah number 87. Allah, the Most High. Friends, glorify the name and reputation of our God, the Most High, who created all things in due proportion, who determined their destinies and guided them, who brought out the green pasture, then made it dark to breeze. Friends, we shall teach you the Quran, and you will not forget, unless God wishes. He knows both what is open and what is hidden. We shall show you the easy way. So remind, if reminding is useful. Those who stand in awe of God will heed the reminder, but it will be ignored by the most wicked, who will enter the great fire, where they will neither die nor live. Prosperous are those who purify themselves, remember the name of their Lord, and pray. Yet you people prefer the life of this world, even though the hereafter is better and more lasting. All this is in the earlier scriptures, the scriptures of Abraham and Moses. Excuse me. Oh, man. And once again, that was the Quran, Surah number 87. Allah, the Most High, which of course is a name, a title, a nickname, if you will, for Jehovah Allah, Jehovah Yahweh, which is of course where this program takes its name from, the Most High. It's not about me smoking tree all the time. All right? It's about the big man upstairs being high as a kite. So that said, we got the book of Ecclesiasticus next. And that is widely considered an apocryphal book. It's right smack in the middle of the Old Testament and the New Testament. If you have a King James version from the Anglicans or the Episcopalians, most other King James versions of the Bible does not have it in there. You have to order it special. You can find these books all online, though, usually for free in one of your favorite Bible apps. Excuse me, this is sort of embarrassing, all the coughing, but what can I do? The Catholic versions of the Bible, in their various translations, have the wisdom of Ben Sirach woven throughout in with the rest of the wisdom books in the chronological order in which it was believed to have been written. Ben is not the gentleman's first name. Ben is the Hebrew and Arabic term meaning son. He's the son of Sirach. His first name was actually Jesus or Joshua. It's all the same name, translated a little differently. A lot of people don't know that like Jesus from the New Testament, his name is Joshua, just translated a little differently. But this Joshua, this Jesus, is not that Jesus, different Jesus, popular name. So that said, we're going to get into that. Oh, man. And let's go with it. In the name of Jehovah Allah, most gracious, most merciful. The book of the wisdom of Yahshua ben Sirach, the son of Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus, chapter 44. Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us. Jehovah hath wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning. Such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding and declaring prophecies. Leaders of the people by their counsels, and by their knowledge of learning meet for the people. All right, give me a second. So I'm starting to leak out of the nose here. My throat is itching. I'm going to start this over again. Give me like 2 seconds. All right, that's live. That's live broadcast for you. Yep. Anyway, there's no commercial break here for me to cut to, folks. So this is just you're just gonna see it. Um. So anyway, the wisdom of Ben Sirach. We're gonna start it over. In the name of Jehovah Allah, most gracious, most merciful. The book of the wisdom of Yeshua ben Sirach, the son of Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus, chapter 44. Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us. Jehovah Allah hath wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning, such as did bear rule in their kingdoms. Men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding and declaring prophecies. Leaders of the people by their counsels, and by their knowledge of learning meet for the people. Wise and eloquent are their instructions, such as found out musical tunes, and recited verses in writing. Rich men furnished with ability, living peaceably in their habitations. All these were honored in their generations, and were the glory of their times. There be of them that have left a name behind them, that their praises might be reported. And some there be which have no memorial, who are perished as though they had never been, and are become as though they had never been born, and their children after them. But these were merciful men, whose righteousness hath not been forgotten. With their seed shall continually remain a good inheritance, and their children are within the covenant. Their seed standeth fast, and their children for their sakes. Their seed shall remain forever, and their glory shall not be blotted out. Their bodies are buried in peace, but their reputation liveth forevermore. The people will tell of their wisdom, and the congregation will show forth their praise. Enoch pleased Jehovah Allah, and was translated, being an example of repentance to all generations. Noah was found perfect and righteous. In the time of wrath he was taken in exchange for the world. Therefore was he left as a remnant unto the earth when the flood came. An everlasting covenant was made with him, that all flesh should perish no more by the flood. Abraham was a great father of many people. In glory there was none like unto him, who kept the law of the Most High, and was in covenant with him. He established the covenant in his flesh, and when he was proved, he was found faithful. Therefore God assured him by an oath that he would bless the nations in his seed, and that he would multiply him as the dust of the earth, and exalt his seed as the stars, and cause them to inherit from sea to sea, and from the river unto the utmost part of the land. With Isaac did he establish likewise, for Abraham his father's sake, the blessings of all men, and the covenant, and made it rest upon the head of Jacob. He acknowledged him in his blessing, and gave him an heritage, and divided his portion among the 12 tribes. And sorry, I'm going to start that last one over again. With Isaac did he establish likewise for his Abraham's father's sake the blessing of all men and the covenant, and made it rest upon the head of Jacob. He acknowledged him in his blessing, and gave him an heritage, and divided his portions among the 12. Yeah, one more time, all right? With Isaac did he establish likewise for Abraham his father's sake the blessing of all men and the covenant, and made it rest upon the head of Jacob. He acknowledged him in his blessing, and gave him an heritage, and divided his portion. Among the 12 tribes did he part them. There we go. That last one, you really got me hung up there. So once again, that was the book of the wisdom of Ben Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus. Again, sorry for butchering that up there at the end. I'm not pre-recording this. Some days are better than others, especially when you're coughing like a nut job here. So I distract myself. So anyway, plus it doesn't help that I forgot to put the light on. So now we can see a little bit better. Let's get into the next spot here. The final reading is from the Gospel. We're in the Gospel of St. Mark right now. We left off with chapter 10. Today is chapter 11. I'm afraid that if I go back and try to recap yesterday's reading, I'm going to begin to cough shortly after I start again. So I'm just going to take a small sip of water here and start going. In the name of Jehovah Allah, most gracious, most merciful. The book of the Gospel according to St. Mark, chapter 11. And when they came nigh to Jerusalem, unto Bethphage and Bethany, at the Mount of Olives, he sendeth forth 2 of his disciples, and saith unto them, Go your way into the village over against you, and as soon as ye be entered into it, ye shall find a colt tied, whereon never man sat. Loose him and bring him. And if any man say unto you, Why do ye this? Say ye that the Lord hath need of him, and straightway he will send him hither. And they went their way, and found the colt tied by the door without, in a place where 2 ways met. And they loose him. And certain of them that stood there said unto them, Why do ye loosing the colt? And they said unto them, Even as Jesus had commanded, and they let them go. And they brought the colt to Jesus, and cast their garments on him, and he sat upon him. And many spread their garments in the way, and others cut down branches off the trees, and strawed them in the way. And they that went before, and they that followed, cried, saying, Hosanna! Blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord! Blessed be the kingdom of our father David, that cometh in the name of Yahweh! Hosanna in the highest! And Jesus entered into Jerusalem and into the temple. And when he had looked round about upon all things, and now the eventide was come, he went out unto Bethany with the 12. And on the morrow, when they were come from Bethany, he was hungry. And seeing a fig tree afar off, having leaves, he came, if haply he might find anything thereon. And when he came to it, he found nothing but leaves, for the time of figs was not yet. And Jesus answered and said unto it, No man eat fruit of thee hereafter forever. And his disciples heard it. All right, picking up back at 15. And they came to Jerusalem, and Jesus went into the temple, and began to cast out them that sold and bought in the temple, and overthrew the tables of the money changers, and the seats of them that sold doves, and would not suffer that any man should carry any vessel through the temple. And he taught, saying unto them, Is it not written, My house shall be called of all nations the house of prayer? But ye have made it a den of thieves. And the scribes and chief priests heard it, and sought how they might destroy him, for they feared him, because all the people was astonished at his doctrine. And when even was come, he went out of the city. And in the morning, as they passed by, they saw the fig tree dried up from the roots. And Peter, calling to remembrance, saith unto him, Master, behold, the fig tree which thou cursedst is withered away. And Jesus answering saith unto them, Have faith in Allah. For verily I say unto you, that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, Be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass, he shall have whatsoever he saith. Therefore I say unto you, what things soever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. And when ye stand praying, forgive if ye have aught against any, that your Father also which is in heaven may forgive you your trespasses. But if ye do not forgive, neither will your Father which is in heaven forgive your trespasses. And they come again to Jerusalem, and as he was walking in the temple, there come to him the chief priests and scribes and elders, and say unto him, By what authority doest thou these things? And who gave thee this authority to do these things? And Jesus answered and said unto them, I will also ask of you one question, and answer me, and I will tell you by what authority I do these things. The baptism of John, was it from heaven or of men? Answer me. And they reasoned with themselves, saying, If we shall say, From heaven, he will say, Why then did you not believe him? But if we say, Of men, they feared the people, for all men counted John that he was a prophet indeed. And they answered and said unto Jesus, We cannot tell. And Jesus answering saith unto them, Neither do I tell you by what authority I do these things. And once again, that was the Gospel according to St. Mark, chapter 11. I do got to apologize again for all the coughing, folks. Like I said the other day, like my throat's been acting stupid lately, caught some kind of bug. It comes, it goes. I thought I beat it a month ago, and it keeps resurfacing. Never quite went away, and it keeps coming back. Not stronger, but just more irritating. You know what I mean? But pray for me, please, that it's on the way out. That said, let me get one more cough in, right? I got to give the warning. There's a volcano out west underneath Yellowstone National Park. It's a super volcano. The term supervolcano is the scientific term, and it means exactly what it implies. Whatever volcanoes you've seen on television, on the news in the past, imagine that multiplied exponentially. It will blow up, it will pop, and when it does, it will destroy probably at least 20% of the continent, if not more. This is the most serious topic today. Make no mistake about it. Anything else is nonsense, not important. Everything else you see is a distraction from it. There's been lots of conspiracy theories about how the news is a distraction, Puff Daddy is a distraction, even the Donald Trump issues are distractions from all kinds of other types of political movements and legislations they're passing and what they're trying to do against us as people and citizens. It's all bullshit. What they're trying to distract us from, what they don't want us to think about, is the fact that this continent is a ticking time bomb. And what they don't want us to think about is the pedophilia running rampant. These two issues are intricately entwined and are the most important thing today. And if they're not talking about arresting pedophiles and going back down Megan's list and finding all the pedophiles on there and rounding them up and executing them in a state-sponsored, government-sanctioned event, then they're just talking bullshit. Everybody's, wants to talk about Epstein and the Epstein files, but what's the fucking point? They have no intention on executing any of those people on that list at the moment. You can release that list all you want. The only thing they're going to do to those people is bring them to jail and feed them and pay for their insulin out of your tax money. They're going to give them life-saving surgeries on your tax money. They're going to give them life-saving heart medicines on your tax money. So unless they're talking about arresting everybody on the Epstein files list and putting them to death in the electric chair, there's no fucking point of talking about it at all anyway. I mean, obviously we want them to stop what they're doing and not do it anymore. There's no doubt about that. But that's not going to happen if you don't take proper care of it. Putting them in jail for a couple years and feeding them and getting them healthy and strong and then releasing them back out into the public to gawk at your kids and harm your kids only furthers the fucking problem. In case you didn't have the fucking common sense to understand that to begin with. Let me tell it to you. Putting these fucking sick fucks in jail and feeding them and giving them life-saving medicine and making them stronger and then sending them back out into the fucking world to fuck your kids isn't helping the problem. It's making the problem worse. In case you were too fucking stupid to put that together on your own, asshole. Take care of the fucking problem. You've been warned again, plainly. Get it done. That volcano will pop, and the only way it's gonna stop is from Jehovah Allah. And he won't fucking help a single goddamn one of us if we don't fucking help the kids. Now let me give the blessing and we can get on with our day. Allah Yahweh bless thee and keep thee. Jehovah Allah cause the face to shine upon you and be gracious toward you. Hashem lift up the countenance upon you and give you peace. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom, friends. God bless you all. Naranja Aranos.